Nancy thought discovering another woman's shoes in her husband's car was the worst pain she would ever experience. She was wrong. The next day would shatter her heart in ways she never thought possible. Nancy barely slept that night. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw those shoes. Every time she drifted off, she remembered Ebuka's silence when she asked if he was cheating. His refusal to look her in the eyes haunted her. By morning, her eyes were swollen from crying. Yet she still got up, prepared breakfast for the children, packed their lunches, got them ready for school. Like every good mother, she carried her pain quietly. The children didn't deserve to suffer because of their father's mistakes. When she arrived at work, she tried to focus, but it was impossible. Numbers on her computer screen became blurry. Meetings sounded like distant echoes. Her mind kept replaying every suspicious moment from the past few months. The late nights, the whispered phone calls, the excuses, the lies, the shoes. For the first time, Nancy wondered if she had ignored warning signs for too long. Around midday, her phone suddenly rang. She glanced at the screen. It was her neighbor, Mrs. Johnson. Nancy immediately answered. "Hello?" The older woman's voice sounded urgent. "Nancy, where are you?" "I'm at work." There was a brief silence. Then Mrs. Johnson spoke again. "You need to come home." Nancy frowned. "Why?" "You need to see what's happening under your own roof." Nancy's heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean?" "I'm not going to explain it over the phone." "Mrs. Johnson, you're scaring me." "You should be scared." Nancy felt a chill run through her body. "What happened?" "Come home immediately." The call ended. Nancy sat frozen. Her heart was racing. 100 terrible possibilities flooded her mind. Were the children okay? Had someone broken into the house? Had Ebuka done something? Without wasting another second, she rushed to her supervisor's office. Her boss looked up from his desk.
"Nancy, is everything all right?" "No, sir." The panic in her voice was obvious. "I've just received a call from my neighbor. There's a family emergency and I need to go home immediately." Her boss studied her face. Nancy was one of the most dedicated employees in the company. She rarely asked for favors, rarely took leave, rarely complained. Whatever was happening had clearly shaken her. "Go," he said. "Thank you, sir. Take care of your family." Nancy didn't
Wait another moment. She grabbed her handbag and rushed out. The drive home felt endless. Every traffic light seemed determined to delay her. Her hands gripped the steering wheel tightly. Her thoughts spiraled out of control. What was waiting for her? What had Mrs. Johnson seen? Why had she sounded so disturbed? The closer Nancy got to home, the more nervous she became. By the time she pulled into the driveway, her heart was pounding so hard it hurt. Then she noticed several unfamiliar vehicles parked outside. Her stomach dropped. Something was terribly wrong. Nancy stepped out of her car. The front door was slightly open. She slowly walked inside. And then she froze. The sight before her left her speechless. Sitting comfortably in her living room were Ebuka's mother and his sister. Beside them sat a young woman Nancy had never seen before. and in Ebuka's sister's arms was a newborn baby. For a few seconds, Nancy simply stared, unable to process what she was seeing, unable to understand why they were all sitting there like they belonged, as if they had every right to be in her home. Everyone turned to look at her. The room fell silent. Nancy forced herself to remain calm. She greeted them politely. "Good afternoon." Ebuka's mother nodded. His sister barely acknowledged her. The young woman simply stared. Then Nancy noticed Ebuka sitting quietly in the corner. He looked uncomfortable, yet strangely proud at the same time. That confused Nancy even more. Something was happening. Something terrible. And everyone in the room seemed to know about it, except her. "Nancy," Ebuka's mother said, "please sit down." Nancy slowly lowered herself into a chair. Her heart pounded loudly. The older woman folded her hands. "There is something important we need to discuss." Nancy glanced at Ebuka. He avoided her eyes. Again, that alone told her she wasn't going to like what she was about to hear. Ebuka's mother pointed toward the young woman. "This is Elise." Nancy politely nodded. "Nice to meet you." The woman didn't smile, didn't greet back, didn't even attempt friendliness. Instead, she sat there with an expression Nancy immediately disliked. Then Ebuka's mother continued. "Elise is Ebuka's second wife." The room seemed to spin. Nancy blinked, certain she had heard wrong. "I'm sorry?" The older woman repeated herself calmly. "Elise is Ebuka's second wife." Nancy stared at her, then at Elise, then at Ebuka. No one laughed. No one corrected the statement. No one said it was a joke, because it wasn't. Nancy felt her heart break. Right there, in her own living room, in front of strangers, in front of people she had welcomed into her life for years. "Second wife?" she whispered. Ebuka remained silent. His silence spoke louder than words. Then the older woman pointed toward the baby. "And this is their child." Nancy's breath caught. The newborn. The baby. The reason behind the late nights. The whispered conversations. The lies. The shoes. Everything suddenly made sense. Every painful piece of the puzzle finally came together. And the picture it created was horrifying. "You had a child with another woman?" Nancy's voice shook. Ebuka still couldn't answer. Instead, his mother answered for him. "These things happen." Nancy slowly turned toward her. "These things happen?" The older woman nodded. "A man can love more than one woman." Nancy couldn't believe what she was hearing. 20 years. 20 years of loyalty. 20 years of sacrifice. Reduced to a simple sentence. "These things happen." "I stood by your son when he had nothing," Nancy said. Her voice was trembling. "I helped build everything we have." "We know." "I sacrificed my youth for this family." "We know." "And now you're bringing another woman into my home?" The older woman remained calm. She is family now.
Nancy felt rage building inside her. Family? No, this woman was not family. This woman was the result of betrayal. Then Ebuka's sister spoke, and immediately made everything worse. You're overreacting. Nancy slowly turned toward her.
The sister smirked. You've been married for years. So? You should be grateful he didn't leave you. Nancy stared at her in disbelief. For years, Ebuka's sister had never hidden her dislike for Nancy. But even this shocked her. Excuse me? You heard me. Nancy's hands clenched. I should be grateful? Yes. The sister shrugged. Men do this all the time. Nancy couldn't believe the arrogance, the disrespect, the cruelty. Then Elise finally spoke, and her words were even worse. You need to accept reality. Nancy looked at her. The younger woman folded her arms confidently. Ebuka loves both of us. Nancy almost laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was unbelievable. This woman had entered her marriage, had a child with her husband, and now expected acceptance, respect, even gratitude inside Nancy's own home. Nancy turned toward Ebuka. Finally, she demanded answers. Say something. He shifted uncomfortably. Nancy. No. Her voice rose. You don't get to say my name. The room became silent. For the first time, Ebuka looked ashamed. But it wasn't enough. Not nearly enough. You betrayed me. He said nothing. You lied to me. Nothing. You had a child with another woman. Still nothing. Nancy realized something devastating. The man she married no longer existed. Then came the final insult, the reason they had all gathered there. Ebuka's mother cleared her throat. There is something else. Nancy looked at her. What now? We want Elise and the baby to move into this house. The words exploded like a bomb. Nancy shot to her feet. No. Everyone stared at her. Her answer had been immediate, absolute, final. No. The older woman frowned. Nancy, I said no. The room fell silent. Nancy looked around, at every single person sitting there, at the people who expected her to surrender, to smile, to accept humiliation, to welcome betrayal into her home, the home she had spent years building, the home she had helped pay for, the home where she raised her children. No, she repeated firmly. That will never happen. The argument lasted nearly an hour. Voices were raised. Accusations flew. Ebuka's sister insulted her repeatedly. Elise acted entitled. His mother attempted emotional manipulation. But Nancy refused to bend. For the first time in her life, they discovered something important. Nancy was not weak. Nancy was not a fool. And Nancy would not be pushed aside. Not without a fight. Eventually, they realized she wasn't changing her mind. The plan had failed. Elise would not be moving into the house. At least, not today. Frustration filled the room. The sister complained. The mother shook her head. Elise looked furious. Then a new arrangement was proposed. Elise would get her own place. For now. One by one they stood, preparing to leave. Nancy watched silently.
emotionally exhausted, heartbroken, numb. Then she noticed something that hurt more than everything else. Ebuka stood up too. He wasn't staying. He wasn't choosing his wife. He wasn't choosing his children. He wasn't choosing the family they built together. Instead, he followed Elise like a loyal servant, like a man chasing a new life. For a brief moment, Nancy hoped he would look at her, say something, apologize, explain himself, anything. But he couldn't.
He couldn't even meet her eyes. The guilt was too heavy, the shame too obvious. So he simply followed Elise toward the door, without a word, without an apology, without looking back. Nancy stood alone in the living room, listening as the cars drove away. The house suddenly felt empty, cold, foreign. A home that once overflowed with love now felt haunted by betrayal. Slowly, she sat down on the couch, the same couch where she and Ebuka once dreamed about their future, the same couch where they celebrated promotions, birthdays, anniversaries, family victories. Now, it felt like a monument to broken promises. And as tears streamed down her face, Nancy made a silent promise to herself. She had lost her husband, but she would not lose herself. What she didn't know was that Ebuka's betrayal was only the beginning. Because very soon, Nancy would discover a secret about Elise that would change everything and turn this entire family upside down.